Wasn't it what was it called? Wasn't it a thing that people use, but it was invite only? Yeah, Clubhouse was invite only. Yeah.
Well, I think at one point, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Twitch tried to buy out Clubhouse for like some insane evaluation, and I think it was like 20 billion, and Clubhouse said no, and then Twitter just built.
Damn, that was a bad idea.
And then Twitter just
Bad
built
trade.
Spaces and just eliminated them. Yeah, it was pretty.
Imagine being a pig and turning down that much money. All they had to do was shut their mouth and say, you know what?
Whoa.
At like the peak of the equity bubble. All they had to do.
Goodness.
Guys, I
What's up, man?
don't want to interrupt, dude, but like, I see we have the community manager for Trader Joe in the audience, dude. And as you guys know,
Is our boy Blue here?
it's just anyone that has the name Joe and any sort of affiliation is a personal friend of mine almost off the bat. We got a lot of Joes in this brand, dude. We have Joe Carlisaire, Joe Consorti, Cosmos Joe, Joe from Saga. A lot of Joes, man. So Mount Doji.
Bring him up.
Mount Doji.
Hey, bring him up.
You want to come on up?
I want to know
here,
how much
dude?
fees they made.
You want to come on up here and join the conversation? We're just going to talk all things DeFi and get to know what the guys over at.
The mic is rugged.
You're covering your mic.
Sorry, man.
It's your lavalier. Your fancy lavalier. You know.
I know that Camelot migrated to the Nitro pool, so that's pretty cool, man. I like the Nitro guys and also the boys over at Camelot. So, well, what's going on, Mount Doji?
Yo, how's it going, everybody?
Welcome, bro.
Yo,
what's going on?
A crazy day. Almost a full 12 hours, right?
I want to know how much Trader Joe made in trading fees day one.
Joe
on RB. Let's go. How much on that?
Let's go, bro.
Give us the numbers. I want to know the numbers. Where's the alpha?
How
sorry,
undervalued is
what
Joe?
were you just saying?
Just tell us. No, we said how many trading fees did Trader Joe?
Yo, could y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
I might need to hop off and back in. Wait 1 sec.
He's getting tapped on the shoulder by the Fed. That's what it is. They're pulling him.
Wait, y'all can hear me, right?
They're pulling him right now. Yeah, we hear you.
He's wearing a wire, and
he's wearing a wire, guys.
Sensitive question.
Yeah. Wearing a wire. Oh my god, it was so funny. In our chat the other day. There was some dude who was like, "Hey guys, any other whales? I'd love to start a whale chat." And someone was like, "Dude, you're glowing. Your profile's glowing." He's like, "What?"
Mr. Producer, if you can make either Payne or Jones Dow a co-host, just so that the connection is stronger, feel free to do so. Okay. All right. We're good, man. We're good. Well, yeah, I guess we can get started now. Ladies and gents, welcome. Well, technically not really starting. We've been starting because Twitter's acting up. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Crypto World Radio and another segment of our Arbitrum series, where we're going to be talking to many founders and devs and community managers within the Arbitrum ecosystem and seeing what's going on the innovation side of things. And today we're here joined by the Florida man himself, the community, the PM, the project manager of Jones Dow, Nacho Libre. He's right here with the Diamond Peppy. And then we're also joined by our boy Shreddy, who joined us in our weekly Bear Spaces on Saturday. So what's going on? He's behind the Jones Dow profile. And lo and behold, we have a community manager from Trader Joe, which is native DEX on one of the most innovative technologies known to man, Avalanche. Everyone here, because Bitcoin is a massive fan of Avalanche. I love Avalanche. Payne loves Avalanche. Rita loves Avalanche. Everyone in the audience loves Avalanche, dude.
It's my favorite L1.
Exactly, man. This is going to be an Arbitrum X Avalanche space. I'm super excited, man, and we look forward to the conversation. Mount Doji, I want to welcome you. Feel free to chime in any way that you please, brother. So let's get the show on the road. I guess we'll start off with Notch. Notch, Shreddy, what's going on? How are you guys feeling today, man? We have the Arbitrum airdrop. People are having fun. There's some nice volatility in the market, some cool developments going on, especially with you guys over at Jones Dow. I see some cool innovation as far as what you guys are doing with your option strategies and stuff like that, and working with Camelot. Really excited to have you. What's up, guys?
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for having us. It's kind of cool because, even like Trader Joe, we were talking to some of the Trader Joe guys. We had Blue, and we were also talking to, he's going to kill me. He's my Italian friend over there. He's got such a good Italian accent. What's his name?
Davide.
Help me out.
Davide.
There you go. Yeah, Davide. He's great, man. And we were just jamming a bit because, obviously, AMM, great fees, stuff like that. So we were jamming a bit to see how we can collaborate a little bit together, because, look, anybody can do Uni V3 stuff, right? But it just helps to, talk to people about it, who you like. And we've got strong ties in our group. Like Halco, he was one of the OG dudes for Trader Joe, and spinning up the Joe NFTs, and he's been helping us out on a lot of things. And so he made some great introductions to you guys, and looking forward to when we go over to Avalanche. I'm looking forward to working very closely with you guys. So, look for us coming to Avalanche. It's coming, boys.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about, dude. We're connecting devs to other devs and creating some innovation here, man. I'm glad this can happen.
A leak in the intro. This is
We're 100%. We're 100%. Are you kidding me? There's so why would we leave $70 million on the table?
We would not.
We wouldn't. Plus, remember, and this. We could tee into this, but we're still not in a bull market here. The valuations are horrible. Most people got crushed. They're still down. Okay, they're not down 90% from the highs. They're down 70% from the highs. All right. So what do you think is going to happen to Ava Labs? You think Ava Labs is just going to sit here and let this happen? No.
Devs are going to do something, dude. They're hard at work.
Let me tell you something. There are some protocols out there that still have Avalanche Rush money. Okay. And you better believe that a lot of people are going to be knocking on that door and say, hey guys, we want to bring innovation to Avalanche. How can you help us bring community with us? And usually that comes in the form of co-marketing and incentives. And we've had several conversations with Ava Labs. They're very serious people. And, we just want to do it right. And, we're the kind of group that measures twice and cuts once. And I can't even tell you how many things are coming out. It's going to be insane. Well, I guess I can. But I'm an open book tonight. So.
Hey, Nets. Can I ask you something, Nets?
Yeah, sure. If you tell me where you got that avatar, dude.
Oh, it's from NFT I got. So
it's crazy.
Hey, but I want to say. Hey, but you were saying, right? It's bear market and all that stuff. But Jones Dow, man, and everybody that's building on Arbitrum. Hey, listen, man, we are about to break all-time highs, man. Regarding TVL on Arbitrum, we're at $2.11 billion right now, and the all-time high was to 2.35 or something. So that's fucking huge, man. So I know the macro is bad and all this bear talk, S&P to 2000, all this shit. In the meantime, bro, Arbitrum is reaching all-time highs. So congrats to the devs, man. Arbitrum.
Devs are doing something, man. And, it's pretty cool, man, that you guys are going to be working with Avalanche. I know, I wanted to pose this question to you, Notch, but if we think about it, right, Ethereum layer 2 protocols, right, like Arbitrum, Optimism, things like that, right, they sort of make, the alt L1 thesis basically dead, crushed, right? And it's been well over a year since the bull market, and it really seems that it's really only the protocols like Phantom and Avalanche that have survived all of this carnage, and are continuing to push out product and be active in the community. So I wanted to know, like, your thoughts on that moving forward. Do you think, like, we're going to be running into a situation where these alt layer ones try to rebrand on Ethereum as like pseudo layer twos or something like that? I'm not sure how that would work.
I think it depends a lot on whether or not they're going to be able to attract builders, because one of the things that Arbitrum did really well is they were I think if they weren't the first, they were one of the first. And when you're able to get the security of Ethereum and scale transactions, the first thing that people looked at when they looked at that chain is they said, all right, well, this makes perfect sense to do derivatives. And so when you're able to get derivatives trading, you're able to start bringing in serious people, because it's usually, there's two types of people that are going to use derivatives. There's going to be degens, there's going to be experts, right? Either way, what they require is different than, for example, what you can get on Phantom. I spent a lot of time on Phantom. Phantom was one of my favorite places to farm during the bull market. But the problem with Phantom is that it's just the execution and the delays. It was horrible. It was horrible. Could you imagine? Like, there's a GMX fork on Phantom. I think it's called Spooky, right? I remember I had a conversation with them, but I was just curious. I was like, hey guys, what's your execution look like? Because we see the success of what we did with GLP, and it's certainly something we could scale. So we just started kicking tires around. And I just don't feel comfortable building on Phantom right now. If they're able to scale it better, get more RPC, stuff like that. But then as soon as Andre 86, like that was pretty much it. Andre was basically in a similar way to how Avalanche had to kind of rebrand after Danny, right? That took a while for people. Wonderland still has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, treasure on Phantom, and that's still in people's minds. A lot of people forget that. They think Min. A lot of them still think Avalanche, but they've certainly done a lot of it to cross chain. I just think that. I think that outside of VC money, because remember, VC money drives a lot of this, right? As long as there's VC money and there's incentives for people to build, I think that people will stick around. But it may not be their home base, right? It depends though. It seems like every chain has its own niche, right? Like in my eyes, Arbitrum, the NFT community in Arbitrum hasn't really shown up yet. There are some projects here, but it hasn't really shown up yet. Instead, though, you can go to other chains, and there's incredible NFT communities, and a lot of it's not very well known, but there are great communities there. And so I think every chain has its angle. And yeah, I think it's way too early in this space to start calling winners and losers. Optimism, though, I think Optimism really made a mistake. I think Arbitrum's model was much better. It was a bit of luck, and there was also a bit of skill in that too. I think just teasing that out. But I said this the moment, and I'm pretty sure it's on a recorded line that I said it too, where I said as soon as Arbitrum does their token drop, as soon as Base announced that they were coming out, Arbitrum is on a ticking clock to announce their token drop. Because if you're a serious builder and you are about to walk into 100,000 KYC users on Base, and you already have infrastructure built out for entities to come in and play, you're going to be able to attract a lot of large capital and a lot of folks that are trying to start off like a spin-off firm into this type of space. So, I think ultimately, I think they would have loved to have waited, but at the end of the day, they did it now. And that's what has me scratching my head as to why people were rushing to sell today. It's a little confusing. I saw Viper. Shout out to Viper. I saw Viper in the chat that I'm in, and then on Twitter saying he wanted an OTC ARB tokens for, I think he said it was $1 each. And I'm wondering, like, how many people actually took them up on it, because I don't get it. I don't get why anybody would be selling right now, but maybe other people feel differently. I mean, I'll tell you why. Someone just airdropped you a ton of tokens near the bottom of a bear market. Like, okay, yeah, Arbitrum has higher TVL than it's had before. Why? But why does it have that higher TVL now? Like, what's the reason? Take a look around at the other chains that we were just talking about. They all have their own issues. Arbitrum doesn't seem to have those issues. Plus, there's the T's in the airdrop. So, will it continue on the same level of growth that it's had? Well, we're going to find out. I think it will. There's a reason why we're here. So,
Notch. And
yeah.
how long have you been in the space, and what had attracted you to get involved with the Arbitrum ecosystem? Like what were some of the key elements that distinguish Arbitrum compared to like an alternative like layer one, right?
Like optimism or something?
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I guess I'll start backwards. Like, I think one of the things with optimism is that the way that optimism kind of did it is there's a lot of grants, and just folks really didn't have a whole lot of, everybody just kind of got optimism, right? It was a little bit different than the way that this went. And the way that optimism did it is they really kind of made it so that protocols were really in control of that thing about why. You can take a look at how the airdrop was done here. It's not the case. You're going to have people that are going to accumulate a ton of RB. Like the Plutus guys, like they're going to accumulate a ton of, like, that's permanently locked. Like, that's theirs. So that means that if something comes up that they want to have sway on, they've got right now 3 million votes. Okay. You better believe that protocols are going to have to look at that and try and figure out, all right, are we going to have to start bribing votes, or are we going to have to buy ourselves? We'll see what happens. I think it's way too early, though, to see. We need to see how this thing goes. But they do need to decentralize those. They need to decentralize on their side a little bit. So hopefully now they're ready to do it. Man, those nodes made a lot of money today. I'll tell you that.
My next question goes to. Oh, my bad. Keep going.
No, I was going to say, as far as like the space and stuff like that, funny enough, I actually started with this. It was the first ever gig I ever did in DeFi. And I started actually on the marketing team. And then I ended up on the incubator side because I have a TradFi background. And I met the guys at Jones now. I was like, holy shit, I'm going to talk to these guys. And one thing led to another, out of Olympus and Jones. I'm taking my garbage out one day and I'm like, you know what? Like, what if we just like leverage ELP up to like some crazy amount and just like make it unliquidatable? Yeah, it was good. But we've had some other crazy ideas and talk with the guys and they work, and I'm blessed to be around some really smart people. So yeah, if I was going to, I'll put it to you this way. If there's another project that's going to come out, it's either going to be on mainnet or it's going to be on Arbitrum if it's going to have derivatives in it. Because right now it feels to me like between execution and now the other protocols that you can build on, it's really tough to go to another chain in a compelling argument if you want to do what you're doing. So yeah, it's pretty. There's some really interesting opportunities. I mean, we'll talk about some of them, but you'll see. There's some things we're going to be able to be doing. Shreddy told me something funny. He's like, "Oh, Beefy asked who we are," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. All right, they don't know who we are. All right, we'll show them."
Do you guys, what do you think is going to what aspect of DeFi do you think will benefit the most from Arbitrum and the low fees and everything? Because I mean, I think there'll probably be a lot more decentralized, Uniswap, Sushi Swap, all that's going to be used a lot more. And especially it's nice that a lot of that will be usable in a bull market. Because if you think back, unless you had, basically a bunch of money. It was pretty much unusable for Ethereum last bull market. If you were trying to just like do a Uniswap fee, it would be like, $450 for like to swap back and forth. And so now I really don't see the reason to have as many L1s, because it's truly like, why would you go and like fragment liquidity on like another chain like Phantom or something when you could just like have it be like essentially still quote unquote like on the home base?
Because I think there are going to be protocols like Tapioca DAO that are going to change what it means to fragment liquidity. And I think that what's going to end up happening is that, I think the Tapioca guys are really good at what they're doing, and I'm just constantly impressed with what they're doing. And I think things like them, Stargate. I mean, I think that we're going to start to see decentralized layer 0 solutions that are going to make it very like you'll tap in on a page, but you're not going to care. Like, we're implementing Socket on our front end because we're coming out with JARA. Like, we're literally waiting for it to pass audit. We're supposed to get our audit back tomorrow. And then after that, we're doing gas optimizations, and we're good. And that's a mainnet product, right? ARA is going to be on Arbitrum as well. So that'll be cool because you'll be able to use it on both. But, we're implementing Socket. So you're going to come to our website and you just, okay, what wallet you want to use, what chain, all right, we'll do the work for you. Now you're in JR. So those are the kind of things that we're going to see more and more of. It's going to matter a lot less where you are, unless it's just strict LP. And then as far as the LPs go, I think that you're going to see a lot more mechanisms that are going to allow you to cheaply swap and bridge over. Now, my concern, though, with all that stuff is the same concern I always have, which is safety. I think it's one of those things where when you have people, you better have a good bounty program. I'll put it that way, because Euler didn't, and Euler had $290 million walk out the door. They had a $1 million bounty. Are you kidding me? Like, that's embarrassing. It's totally embarrassing. I'm sorry. Like, what? It should have been 10%. And there are serious people. There are very serious people who were saying the exact same thing. Like, you think about some of the most infamous, people, like Riptide. Like, just today, Riptide. What does he post? Hey, anybody know anybody at Radiant? A few hours later, yep, unsafe. Team's great. Because they're serious and they have a serious bug bounty. Good job, Radiant, protecting your users. Because if it wasn't Riptide, it might have been somebody else. So, yeah, people have to get really serious about this kind of stuff. But that's how you're going to be able to scale. Because right now, the problem is, you're talking about fracturing between protocols. I'm talking about fracturing between chains. Like, we nearly had an on-chain run in USDC of liquidity. Because if you took, someone I really respect sent me a screenshot last week of 3Curve, and you take a look at how much USDC in there, and it's like, okay, it's going to recover a little bit, but we could add an on-chain run, which is a little bit different. So, where they've got
really the only event that we saw that was close to that was back in June, where MakerDAO almost got liquidated. But it's sort of like when you see everyone panic and really freaking out, it's like, all right, man, like this thing is either like, all right, let's burn everything down and recreate everything from the ashes, or everything is going to be okay. And yeah, man, it was quite something, man. It was quite something.
Well, the Feds 100% took out Signature Bank, 100%.
Yeah.
Go read Barney Frank.
Oh, that's right. You sent. I think you did send me that, or somebody else did.
It was me. Yeah. 100%. 100%. I mean, when they sold that bank, they said, "All right, but you got to drop the crypto." Come on.
Jeez, man. It's kind of weird, dude, because I'm not gonna say the 3 words, but the SEC, they keep trying to sue like Coinbase and Gemini and Kraken, but yet they've let all these like fintech companies steal people's money, and then people are like, "Oh no, crypto's a scam! Crypto's a scam!"
Yeah, but what the joke is? The joke is that they go
The
and they
banks
do
are
all this.
scams, dude. The banks are the fucking scams, bro. It's fucking disgusting, man. It truly is. And
Yeah.
like, if there was a better narrative for crypto, it would be like what's going on today. And we are literally in a simulation that is long crypto and short the banks. And just look at fucking Credit Suisse, man. Like, dude, are you telling me that KuCoin is like more solvent than freaking Credit Suisse?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Like, do
Dude,
you
I think about that.
understand this, dude? Understand that. Like, Vitalik Buterin's like ETH Foundation is more solvent than like some of the world's biggest banks. And people want to come on and LARP about, it's going to zero, it's never coming back again, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, it turns out that like the legacy system is the one that's really like a scam. You know what I mean?
Well,
But go ahead.
no. Well, I mean, have you ever met anybody from Credit Suisse? Jeez.
I haven't, dude.
They're taking the bottom of the barrel over there. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know they have like some equality stuff, right? And quite frankly, like I
like SVB, where we do yoga instead of.
Yeah, and also like I support women in tech, which I do. I support women in tech, but anyways,
I don't understand though why they get a free ticket to that ETH thing. That was weird. I saw it. It was like I looked at the ticket prices. I think it was for Denver. Or, it was like for everybody else it was like 500, but you guys I think it was like $10. I was like, excuse me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wait, ETH Denver was $10 if you're a woman?
I think so. Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, it was one of the conferences recently. I was like, excuse me. I'm surprised no one made a thread about it.
Yeah. But I guess we can pose this question to Shreds. If you can tell us like what Jones DAO is all about, and also the thought process behind balancing the idea of making sure that whatever you guys are putting out is innovative, but also complex in nature. But also like something that's understandable to the average user, and I think like that's sort of the hurdle that DeFi has. I know we sort of went on a technical conversation with Notch, but now we can sort of bring upon like the more non-technical stuff.
Toss it over me. I'm the left curve guy. All right.
Yeah.
That's where I take over.
Yeah.
I will probably end up passing this question off to Notch at some point here, but I will say that like Jones, the ethos, the idea, it's our whole slogan, it's our whole pitch is like to make DeFi simple for users, but to also provide highly competitive strategies. And I think that like people underestimate how difficult DeFi is to understand for the average user, especially when CT can kind of be an echo chamber. We all hear about the same strategies and tactics all the time. You see, you kind of can get a little bit of a sense of I guess echo chamber is the right way to talk about it, but you can get stuck in this mindset that everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. And I think that another thing that Jones specializes in is abstracting away that complexity. And also, I think it's really, for us, it's all about providing the most efficient yield possible. Like if you look at our strategy suite, essentially what we've opted to do is take some things like options or leverage that can be really scary or confusing to the average person and provide them an easy number to understand, a yield, and then pair that with an easy to access interface. And not to dumb it down to like Robinhood levels. Of course, you would have to know a bit about what you're getting into, but I think that's really the ethos of Jones, and the reason why it cuts through the market so easily is it's almost this, and I'm going to pass this off to Notch a bit to talk about like how the strategy team thinks about risk management and that kind of thing. But I think it's all about us kind of like taking care of the depositor, taking care of the user. It's always been that way.
If you guys also want to get into like how the protocol generates revenue, feel free to get into that as well.
Yeah, I'll before I pass it off to Notch, I'll quickly like go through a little bit of our strategies. So originally, Jones was a project that focused on simplifying options, and we're built on originally on top of DopeX, who are great partners of ours, great friends. Those guys are mega, giga chads. And we have a bunch of options, vaults, basically, that simplify the process of using these SSOVs. We call them OpFi. We've adopted that term from DopeX because really the idea is to be able to use all kinds of different like options, finance, products. There are many kinds. You could, you could sell options. You could use options. You could also maybe there's a spot opportunity in there. So OpFi is more applicable to what goes on there. It's a strategy built around options. And then we took that a step further in, I think it was like November of last year when we released the meta vaults. And the meta vaults are essentially these directional vaults. So you pick, it's very simple. You pick either, hey, I'm feeling bullish or I'm feeling bearish. And you, let's say you have LP in, right now it only works with DopeX LP. So DPX ETH and RDPX ETH. You can take those LP tokens, put them into the meta vaults, pick a direction, and Jones will apply an options strategy based on the weekly options from DopeX. So these are more quick, faster vaults, but the rewards that come from the LPs are then used to fund those options strategies. And lastly, which is our like biggest, boldest, this product has grown our TVL 10x from the beginning of the year, is our JGLP and JUSDC strategies, which have been very, 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 very popular, but very, very easy to understand. It's JUSDC, which is a yield-bearing wrapper for stables that lends to the GLP vault, which applies a little bit of leverage automatically to the GLP yield. So it's this very nice, and a portion of that goes back to the JUSDC, USDC strategy as lending yield. So it's this very nice single-sided, like just 2-asset pool that allows us to get a bit creative on ways to kind of innovate yield on GLP. I think I want to pass it over to Notch to talk about the difference between us doing leverage and some other protocols that maybe focus more on delta neutral type strategies, because that's super important combo.
Wait, one.
Unless you have another question, or
I have one question. So you, what you said about USDC, right? So you get APR on it as well, but is it available for the people in the US? And are you guys not worried that because the US is now hunting down these DeFi protocols?
It's illegal in the It's illegal in the US.
It's illegal. Okay, so you guys are not in the US.
Even in our terms of service, yeah, in our terms of service.
I live in the metaverse, sir.
Okay.
It is. You're not allowed to use anything in OFAC countries, the US, and you're also not allowed to drink water as well. That's the next rule that's coming.
Very haram.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's Ramadan. Ramadan.
Yeah, I'm fasting right now, so all good, man.
There you go. Hey, Ramadan Mubarak.
Thank you, man.
So look, to kind of restate it a different way, right? What do you like? Think about what you do when you LP, right? So when you LP, what do? You take 50% of one thing, 50% of another, or you take 80-20, 20-80, whatever you do. Okay. You take 50% of one thing, 50% of another. Usually, how does this go? You take 50% of the thing you care about, and then 50% of like ETH or USDC, whatever it is you're forced to care about, right? And you shove them into a vault. And then what happens? Okay. So if you're 50-50 and the market goes down, you lose less, right? If you're paired to something like a USDC or like an ETH, because you're dealing with impermanent loss, but usually you have more beta on one side than the other. So you're dealing with impermanent loss. Okay. So when you think about meta vaults, what do? They give people another option. And they say, okay, I want to stay LP'd. I want to still get these rewards, but I want to get some of the upside. The reason we noticed this meta vault idea was because there was a run where DopeX ended up going on this crazy run in the middle of the bear market, and I think DPX got up like 1,000. I remember asking in the OG chat, I was like, so guys, like, you know, I noticed that the liquidity went down in the pools. Like, are people selling or what? They're like, no, we're like a lot of like whales are like, no, we're just unLPing because we want to get all the ball. And so I got us thinking, like, well, what if you could stay LP'd? We throw some options on top of it, and we make a bull vault. And then the idea was like, okay, well, what if then you could switch between bull and bear? Because maybe you feel the other way. It's like, well, with the bear vault, you could do the same thing, you know, basically using V3 in a way to target the liquidity. But that requires a lot of work, and we're about making things easier. So we decided to do, and I'll tell you the exact spec right now, the MetaVault V3. The only people that know this are people that are Jones, and I see Cassio's in the chat, so I guess Cassio, because he was on that call when I leaked it to them, because I basically told them I'm going to buy all your ETH options forever. So let me explain to you how MetaVault V3 is going to work. MetaVault V3, the first thing we're going to do is we're obviously going to start with Jones, with JDPX and JRDPX, right? Makes so much sense to do DPX and RDPX MetaVaults. The idea here being that if we do a DPX ETH and a RDPX ETH, go look at how much those sushi vaults are paying. They're like an insane number. When we envisioned these vaults initially, the DopeX vaults were paying 40-50%. When they got cut in APR, they got cut in the amount of options that we could buy. Not anymore. Now I can buy all the options I want. Except another problem with the V2 vaults or the V1 vaults, meta vaults initially, is that we had them on an epoch timer. So the way that DopeX works is that liquidity is for a certain amount of time. Now you can get out whenever you want. You might take a haircut until there's a liquid options market where we can just trade your option out and then you get something that bad. But right now you're going to be able to get out. So if you want to get out, you can get out. And then we thought, all right, well, let's come up with a third vault idea within here, or let's give people a third option for their LPing. So what are you doing when you're LPing? When you're LPing, you are creating liquidity for the protocol, but you're not driving any value to the protocol, usually. DopeX is a really specific example because if you're in DopeX and I buy your options, guess who wins? Everybody wins. Market makers can come in. There's more demand on the ETH side. There's more demand on the sell call side. So if Jones can do its job of buying all that ETH liquidity, that means now people can sell. There's buyers for all those people trying to sell calls every single week on DopeX. So we solve that liquidity problem for them. Now, how do we get it scalable? Well, we add a third vault. So the third option in the meta vaults now will be something we're calling the crab vault. So now you're going to have three options. You can go bull, you can go bear, or if you're not sure, you can go crab. It's auto compounding as well. What does that mean? So no one has ever been able to build an auto compounder on the DopeX side for a lot of reasons. One of them is that DopeX whitelists their contracts. And you have to go through them. And look, it's rent seeking if you're just, I think it's just plain lazy if you're just building an auto compounder. Like I think those beefy vaults, I think they're ingenious because it's just such a simple thing, but it's very lazy and they have no moat. So what are we going to do? We're going to build something that has a moat. So if you're at home right now, or if you're on your phone, and you have it in front of you, go take a look right now. We're just going to start with sushi, okay? Go take a look at those sushi vaults on the LP side, okay? Go look at how much magic has in that LP, okay? Wait till you see when we start plugging this thing in to sushi, to Camelot to Balancer. Did you think that we were just going to build this thing and only have it for DPX? No. We're going to buy, I'll put it to you this way. If we can get between 500,000 and 1 million from everybody that we put this on, do you know how much ETH options are about to be bought every single week for DopeX? Do you know how much revenue that generates for DopeX? And do you know that the amount of size that can come in and actually utilize weekly options for DopeX? Remember, we're built on top of DopeX from our option standpoint. And we have redundancy there too, where if we need to route, we can, but DopeX has told us, hey guys, we're good. Buy everything you want. We got you. All right. Get ready. So you're going to see when we launch MetaVaults V2 and that stuff comes out, every month, we're going to see another one, maybe 2 a month. Because once the architecture is there, it's replicatable. So, I said something about sushi before. Shreddy met these guys over, I guess, IRL at some conference or something. It's like, oh, yeah, Jones. And like, who's Jones? Okay. All right.
Don't know.
You have no
Don't
hope.
know.
Well, they're gonna know, because all of a sudden they're gonna wonder, like, what the hell just happened? What happened? What do you think happens when people go into, like, if I tell you that you can be LP'd, get a bunch of rewards, and still capture upside, not to the extent that you're single stake, but hey, you can sleep at night. Like, you don't think that's going to steal some TVL? Because I do. And we do. And that's why we're putting money into it. And then the next thing you got to think about is, all right, well, so that's just MetaVaults. So what happens with GLP? Well, there's going to be 2 versions of GLP, right? We already talked about Avalanche, but what happens when DopeX releases synthetics? That would blow my mind. What happens when GMX releases synthetics? Okay, what happens? Well, you're going to have 2 GLP pools, right? No, that's not the way it's going to go down. Go read their gitbook. You are going to have to be a lot smarter about what it is that you want to put into these synthetics. And synthetics have a very different risk profile than perps. You need to understand that when you go in. So we're going to make sure that we link to a lot of the perp versus synthetic stuff that GMX is building. They opened up the curtain for us and basically said, here's exactly what we're building. And basically told us, how would you like to build? And so we have something coming out that we think is going to be very interesting for you guys. And we're partnering with somebody we haven't partnered with before, a little group called Lido. And you're going to see probably one of the most interesting Ethereum strategies out there. Because again, and I said this before, people are like, what's the TLDR of Jones? Like, we make it really simple for people to ape into DeFi stuff. And like, what does that mean? I understand a lot about DeFi. I'm like, we're like Yearn, but we're not lazy. Yearn comes out with something where it's like a bunch of LSDs and they're just going to bribe it on Curve. Okay. Wait till you see what our ETH looks like. Because my hurdle rate is Lido, right? I have to make above what Lido makes for anybody to want to be interested in me. And that's after any retention that happens. And then I got to be able to bribe it.
Gotcha. So what are some of the security measures that you guys at Joe, I almost called you guys Joe's now. But
there's also a merger coming, you don't know. Trader Joe's just taking over. They're going to put a hat on. Is that it?
Mount Doji, feel free to chime in, Mount Doji, in the conversation, man. Would love anything that you have to say with the conversation going on, brother.
He's just gonna DM me, be like, so when MetaVault's on Trader Joe?
Yeah.
You tell me, no problem. I can put this anywhere. Put it on Avalanche too. Because we're gonna do this on mainnet too, you know that, right? We're 100% gonna do this on mainnet.
Yeah, everywhere.
So if you go to my Twitter back in, I don't know, the beginning of the year, I posted this picture. So there's this meme that, like, I don't know if you're aware of it, but like the OG Dopex people know, where they were supposed to have gone to mainnet a long time. It didn't happen. I hope it happens one day, but it didn't happen, right? And I really don't think they actually need to go to mainnet, but it didn't happen. And so the Thanos meme it was like a thing at the end where he's like puts his fist in the gauntlet and was fine, I'll do it myself. And I said, oceans of liquidity coming to ETH from Dopex. You'll see soon. Because I mean, this is the meta vaults, man. You can go anywhere. I can take this to mainnet. It doesn't matter. I'm going to source my options from Dopex. I'm going to make these vaults on mainnet. Why not? Why not have an ETHUSDC vault built on top of, I don't know, Curve? Why not? It's not like we don't have, $1 million of convex. I could bribe that if I wanted to. If I wanted to make it like, I don't know, a vault that I wanted to LP against or something. Why not? You know how much aura we're about to have too? I could bribe things on Balancer as well. We've set ourselves up to be able to build on every chain, and we've been doing this very quietly. The only reason we were able to do this successfully is because last year, back in May, we made a decision to sell everything in our treasury. And we got a lot of shit for it, but here we are now.
What'd you guys have in your treasury? Just ETH?
No, we had a lot of Dopex, we had a lot of RDPX, we had a lot of ETH. It was painful. We sold everything that wasn't locked. Everything.
I see we have Casio in the crowd, and I know he's joined you gentlemen on Spaces. So Casio, invited you up to speak. If you want to come on up, man, would love to talk some shop with you, brother. But man, Notch, I wanted to know, is really anyone on Arbitrum seeking to work with emerging ecosystems from like the modularity layers like Celestia, Fuel Network, Dimension, things of that nature, or is it predominantly just gonna be on Arbitrum? And as you have stated, like perhaps some work with some of the Alta ones.
I mean, now that there's an airdrop, it's really hard to justify going somewhere else.
Notch, you cut off there, brother. Can anyone else hear Notch?
Yeah, no,
it
I
was
heard
me.
him. He
It was
said
me.
now that there's an airdrop, it's pretty hard to justify going anywhere else, which makes complete sense.
Yeah, because for folks like us, we have to have an established, like I would love to build on Barachain. I think those guys are great. I just need things to kind of be built out before I can go there. You know what I mean? Like I can't really go there.
Guys, man.
Yeah, they're great.
They're awesome.
Smokey's awesome. Zach is awesome. Like there's a bunch of guys that are they're great. Like I'm not even doing justice by naming like two of them. But I mean, I know Redacted's building on there. Love those guys. But I would love to go there. I want to follow Dopex on Polygon. I want to put MetaVaults there too. Why not? It's just that we need other things that we can plug and play to justify the development hours. And right now, I'll be honest with you, like the stuff that we're building, like we're seriously considering like literally getting a shop in Dubai and just like hiring 10 devs. I'm not even kidding. Because we just how are we supposed to do that?
So what do you think the demand is? Like, do you think there's truly just a ton of people that are like, oh, like I'm just holding spot right now, or like I'm trading perps, but like if there was a true like accessible way to trade call options, like that would make me like inject a ton of my own personal like liquidity to trade these things. Like, do you think there's a giant like untapped market for that? Or do you think it's more so like people already in the ecosystem that are asking for that?
Stay left. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting to my destination. So I think one of the big things. Could you repeat it actually?
Yeah, no problem. I was just saying, like, do you think that there's a giant, like, have you guys noticed that there's a giant demand, like, to trade options, like call options in the traditional sense, not obviously perps? Like, do you think there's a giant group of people, like a big market for people who are like, hey, I'm just holding spot, or I'm just trading perps, But like if we had call options, you know, like I would be willing to deploy like a lot more liquidity. Like, do you think there's a big market for that people aren't understanding, or do you think it's more so people just in the ecosystem already that are asking for these things?
I think it's a mix. I think that what's going to happen is that people are going to, a lot of people shy away if there's not enough liquidity, because what happens is you lose slippage. Like one of the big pluses in the DopeX model is, thank you so much. One of the big pluses in the DopeX model is that with DopeX, have a safe night, thank you. One of the things with the DopeX model that's great is that the way that DopeX prices, so with DopeX, you can get pricing similar to Deribit. Deribit is like the main source, you can call it, for options, right? But it's in a centralized way. They trade out with market makers, and if you're in the US, you can't touch it. So basically, what ends up happening is you get a lot of people that come into this thing and they say, okay, I want to use Deribit for this or for that. And then what happens? They end up in a position where, yeah, you got some really complex people, but it's not enough to grow your TVL in some crazy way off chain, right? So you need to have other ways, and that's why we rebranded. We used to talk about options. Now we focus more on yield, because what we found is that most people see options and frankly, they just get scared. And what we're doing is we're taking these strategies and we're taking these complex things, we're boiling them down, and we're saying, what is it that people want? Okay. And then based on what people want, let's back into the products. Let's back into the strategies. Like, what do people want in JUSDC? They want a place that they could park their USDC. They're going to get yield. And literally, there's 3 ways of failure: smart contract risk on our side, smart contract risk on GMX's side, or Circle literally taking shit. So if you're comfortable with those 3 things, you're unliquidatable in JUSDC. Is there a market for that? We think so. All right. So that's some place you could put your USDC. Next thing would be, all right, well, I can go and I have GLP, but, if I could just leverage it, right? If I could just leverage GLP, boy, I'm going to make a lot of money, because, GLP is a ton of yield. And if you look backwards, it averages 25%. And most of the time, traders lose. Okay. So what did we do? We said, well, everybody's making these delta neutral strategies that literally don't work. So what did we do? We said, well, let's just remove the stable exposure. So we did. We removed the stable exposure. And now what happens? You're getting a basket of crypto assets that have a similar vol to ETH. So if you're comfortable holding ETH and you're comfortable with those other risks that I told you about, well, guess what? You're going to do really well. And oh, by the way, as a side effect, when we go back into a bull market, what do you think is going to happen to the price of GLP versus if you just held, I don't know, ETH? You're going to lose. Well, if you're in JGLP, it's levered. So you could be in a bull market earning really good yield. You're going to do very well if we're right. But that's up to you to decide.
Notch, and this is a question for Notch or Shreds as a follow-up to that. Are there anything that's coming up for Jones later on in the year that you guys want to share? Maybe like an alpha drop or something of that nature?
Another one?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm loving the conversation, dude. I'm taking notes here, brother.
How many more?
Not just keeping an internal I'm
gonna get yelled at
scratch
tomorrow.
on a wall of how many alpha leaks he's given out. I'm sure many of our community members who are listening have caught on to quite a few things. I mean, I can give you a quick overview of like what's coming in order. We've said this multiple times on our own podcast. Next up for us is J Aura. I mean, we've been working with the Aura guys for a long time.
I love both guys, man. That's a great team, dude. I'm bullish on
great team,
well.
super solid. Balancer eco's great. I think that that's like something that we're really excited about doing. I think Notch mentioned this earlier, but the audits are literally supposed to come back tomorrow, and then it's just up to us to clean up the gas and get that going. And then it's Meta Vaults V2, which we talked a bit about, and Options Vaults upgrades as well. And I think another thing that we kind of breezed by is the upgrades we're doing to JETH. JETH was like the debut vault for Jones, but we paused it for a bit in order to give it not even a makeover, like a brand new body. So I mean, those are huge. I'm wondering, is there anything else that we like? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think honestly that's it. I mean, that's a lot of alpha, and frankly, I'm also on like 1% battery, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. We'll be going to wrap it up.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. It's all good.
Yeah. I know we kind of went over the hour and all that stuff, but yeah, for anyone in the audience, if you have any like last minute questions, feel free to drop it in the little box in the bottom right. Won't be taking any speakers, just to be mindful of everyone's time here. We had a little bit of a delay at the start, but yeah, replay of the space will be uploaded onto our YouTube. And if you guys enjoy this kind of content, feel free to follow all the speakers up here, and also follow the Because Bitcoin Twitter profile and turn on bell notifications. We'll be hosting some of the Byte Masons tomorrow, and Justin Bibas. I know there was a little bit of a scheduling conflict due to some time zone differences, but look forward to that. And yeah, feel free to follow Jones DAO. And also, you guys had mentioned a podcast. Is that right, Shreds?
Yeah. So
is there a link that I can share up on the Nest? If you can.
Yeah. It's on Spotify. It's called Hats Off. We do pretty special. Basically, we do like one a month, sometimes two a month, but we only ever keep two of them up at one time, as to kind of play almost covering our tracks a little bit.
I really like that. That's a super cool concept.
Yeah. I think it's good to kind of keep people focused, and it's like I think it's really like for us, it's more so that we don't get front run on.
I don't want to get rugged. I don't want to get rugged without.
Yeah.
Great.
It was a pleasure having you, Notch.
Bye, Notch.
We'll connect soon, brother. We'll connect soon, man.
I'll take the rest.
Take care, man.
Having you up here, brother.
Okay. I think he has been officially rugged. Yeah, it's called Hats Off. If you want to take a listen, we just uploaded up a new episode, I think from beginning or the middle of March, like a week or so ago. We talked about a bunch of new stuff that's coming, a lot of stuff we talked about in this call, but if you want it straight from our mouths, you can find that there. We also do like a macro and a technicals overview for the beginning, so you'll get a little bit of market research at the beginning of each episode as well. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested, just Twitter's right here. You can hop in the Discord. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And like Notch was saying, if there's a token that you really enjoy that you want to find yield on, chances are Jones has got a product or a strategy that makes a lot of sense for you. So check it out.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, Shreds, looking forward to having you on future spaces. Same thing with Notch, and also, of course, anyone else that's a contributor of Jones DAO and also Arbitrum.
Yeah, you guys rock.
Yeah, man.
Next time Arbitrum has an airdrop, we'll come back on again. I promise.
Yeah. So sort of like something that I'm working on for the next few weeks is just trying to connect with all of you Chads from Arbitrum, building on Arbitrum, and at some point try to host like a mega Arbitrum space.
Yeah.
And kind of shoot and brainstorm some ideas. I believe like the next Arbitrum project that we'll be having on is a Gains Network. So looking forward to that. And I know you guys had also mentioned Aura, so I'll reach out to them and all that stuff. And yeah, man, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today about Jones. Same thing with Notch. It truly is a blessing, honestly, in life to speak with people that are building on all this innovation on Ethereum and in the overall crypto space, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time to come talk some shop. And also,
thank you guys for real. You guys are great.
Really appreciate you and all you do. And Bitcoin to 1 million. Apologies are right.
Yes, sir.
BTC to 1 million, dude. BTC to 1 million, dude.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, thank you so much to the audience as well. If you're new, my name's Wabi. I host these spaces throughout the week for Because Bitcoin. And as far as our guests go, it could be founders, devs, contributors from all around the crypto space. Sometimes we'll have people from the venture capital space. Sometimes we'll have like some media personalities, like I've had Ben Cowan on. I've also had people from the trading community like Trader XO, Trader RB, and a few other people. The names kind of escaped my head. Done about like close to 80 spaces in 3 months. So golly, man, I can't really remember all the names on top of my head, but yeah, you can catch all those replays on our YouTube channel. Same thing with this space. However, because it's recorded manually via Twitter, it'll take some time, but we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, once again with Byte Masons and Justin Beavis. And yeah, look forward to more Arbitrum-based content here from Because Bitcoin and the spaces that I host for them. And looking forward to all the innovation that Jones DAO is helping bring on Arbitrum. So thank you guys so much. Take care. God bless you. Have a nice night. I'm going to go to Walmart and get a few things. So peace out, man.
Take care, brother. Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
The trading current is just math. It's just math. It has a 95.45% hit rate when we deviate outside of CP2 and CN2. All you had to do is recognize that 95% of the time when we get over here, under this blue line, we get some sort of mean reversion. So let's just assume you long right here. 95 out of 100 times, when I buy this, I'm gonna get some sort of bounce. It's just math. Look what would have happened as we move up. Look at the bounce that came after. And now look where we are. If you had just blindly followed the current, you take all emotions out of it, and you say, I'm going to trust the statisticians. You would have bought Dow Jones somewhere down here under 30,000. Depending on how you want to measure it from absolute top to bottom, 20% move. We also have multi-time frame alerts. You don't even have to be at your computer on TradingView. You can ping your phone. Now, the current has some really awesome features, and I would urge you guys to join our Discord to get access to it. We give it away for free as a tool to the community. It's just math. There's really no need to overcomplicate things, not even in the slightest.